In this video, I want to open up a discussion with you about camera technology. Because obviously, camera tech now compared to 10, 15 years ago has come on leaps and bounds. And no doubt in 10 or 15 years time from now, the cameras that we're shooting with, the specs of those are going to be unrecognizable to what we have now. But where is it all going to end? When will it actually become too much and beyond a joke? I mean, I imagine it'll all end with the ultimate demise of the human race and our inevitable extinction. But hey, let's try and keep this a bit cheerful. You know, we've been through these cycles 101 times already. We went through the resolution war, who can get the highest resolutions in their sensors, and then people realised that actually that affects the noise performance. So then it's okay, who can get the best high ISO noise performance? And then people started going, well, we don't really need to shoot at like 102,000 ISO, so we're focusing more on noise at low ISOs, and then it's okay, who can get the best dynamic range? Now we've got more dynamic range than we know what to do with. Who can get the fastest shooting speed? And now we've got cameras like the A9 that can shoot 20 frames a second for God knows how long, and we've got other cameras like the Fuji X-T3 and the Olympus EM1X that can do like 30 or 60 frames a second in really short bursts. But how useful are those? No doubt that they're not where that's going to stop. We'll have cameras coming out now that will be doing 30 frames a second in continuous bursts. We'll have cameras that could probably shoot 4 or 5 second bursts of 120 frames a second, which would basically be like shooting video. And I think for most people, that kind of performance is just completely pointless. We'd never actually need that. But it will become the mainstream and everyone will end up with it. But how much further can it go? What do we actually need more from a camera than what a camera has to offer now? I'm sure in 30 years' time, we'll look back on the stuff we've got now and think, my God, that was ancient tech. How did we cope with that? And no doubt the cameras by then, we'll be talking about ISO performance is so high that you could take a picture at max ISO with the lens cap on and you'd probably be able to read the writing on the inside of the lens cap. So I'm just trying to second guess where the camera tech's going to go. There's so many potential things that I'm seeing from cameras nowadays. What's going to stick around as mainstream and what's going to get ditched off? I think, personally for me, I think this whole notion of high-resolution sensors is going to fall by the wayside. The prototype sensors that Canon brought out, that 120 or the 250 megapixel sensors, for the most part, people do not need that kind of resolution all the time. But when you consider you've got certain cameras with technology like the whole sensor shift idea, where you move the sensor by a pixel each time and you get 4 images and you slam them all together, and you don't really get a bigger resolution file, but you get a much more detailed file that is like having a higher resolution file, if that makes sense. The problem with that at the minute is that it takes a bit of time for the sensor to move around and for it to capture all 4 images. So whatever the scene is that you're taking a picture of has to be completely static. But then when you think you've got cameras now that can shoot 60 frames a second stills and have sensor shift stabilization as well, I don't think it's going to be long before the speed with which cameras can take those 4 images becomes so fast that it's all but inconceivable to us. I definitely think noise performance is just going to keep improving and improving. Not that I really think that we need it. Most of the mainstream cameras these days can happily shoot at ISO 6400, and you'd only really notice the difference if you're jumping in pixel peeping. For most parts, for average size prints, for viewing on social media and the likes, for most people you would never really see any noise even on an ISO 6400 shot. But that's not going to stop the noise performance getting better and better and the dynamic range getting better and better as well. And to the point that I imagine in the future we'll be able to shoot at probably like ISO 32,000 with fairly minimal noise, which would be great for astrophotography. And with the transition now, I think, to mirrorless, opens up a whole new range of possibilities. You know, moving away from DSLRs onto mirrorless cameras, tech's got a whole new avenue to play with. And that's case in point for that, for me, is eye autofocus. Eye autofocus is only possible in mirrorless cameras. You can't do it in DSLRs. Because DSLRs can't actually see what it is looking at, it's got no comprehension of what the picture is that you're actually eyeing up. All it can do is use phase detect and guess which part of the scene you're trying to get the phase points to line up with and get in focus. And usually the camera will presume that it's the closest thing to the camera. With mirrorless, however, it's got a live view picture. It can see physically what is in front of it. Couple that with artificial intelligence, it can work out what it's looking at. So it makes tracking subjects so much more reliable. It'd be like with a DSLR, for example, if I was to say to the camera, track this lens cap, okay, it could probably track the thing moving around. But then if I put the lens cap behind me, the camera would lose track of it. It would, you know, it would focus on me. And then when I brought the lens cap back out here, the camera would still be trying to focus on me. But with the mirrorless, I know with Sony there is a tracking AF mode that you can literally tap on the screen over the lens cap, and then when you move it around, the camera goes, okay, that's what I'm looking for. So with much better AI, you can have it to go, you know, okay, I'm over here, I'm over here. Oh, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? And then when the subject comes back into view, the camera remembers what it is you're trying to take a picture of and locks back onto it. I also wonder if maybe artificial intelligence could potentially play a role in the camera in producing the images as well. I know there was some sample videos, some promotion videos put up, I think it was NVIDIA or somebody, and was showing the potential software capabilities that you can essentially draw a basic picture in a program, and then it uses artificial intelligence to create this, what looks like a picture taken with a camera, and it's not, it's just a composite image. You look at computer graphics cards nowadays, the GPUs, with like the NVIDIA RTX cards with ray tracing, and the way they can calculate where lights fall in and then create reflections and stuff. The AI kind of aspect of computers is still growing and growing and growing. And I wonder, are manufacturers going to start to implement that into cameras as well? You know, where you can take a picture and the AI in the camera enhances the picture for you. And I know it's cheating and it's not really true photography, but let's be honest, true photography kind of went out the window a long time ago. But that's just my opinion. For me, I imagine by the time I come to retirement, it really will be the camera taking the picture for me. But what do you guys reckon? What new wonderful technologies do you think we've got lined up in the future? Or do you think cameras really have hit the limit of where they need to go? Leave your thoughts and comments in the box down below. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.